Okay, in this question, they're giving us a cuboid. They're actually giving us the volume this time. And the last question, or what we're going to try and figure out, is the maximum value of A, which is the surface area. Usually in the exam, they won't be nice and structured like that. They'll just say, they'll give you the first sentence and they'll say, find the maximum value of A in, the dimensions and everything. So what I would usually do is I'd actually just start off with the formula that for what I want. So in this case, it's area. So if I wanted to write area, I'm just going to write this on the side here. So area of this shape will be, there's an x and a y side, so it will be x times y, but there are two of them. So it's going to be 2xy plus, there's a 2x and a y side here, and then two of them. So it's going to be 2 times 2x times y, so 2x times y, and then plus that, and then the 2x times the x, 2 times 2x, well, not plus, just plus 2 times 2x times x, so that's going to be 2x squared. Okay, so this is kind of what I want, but the problem here is I have x and y value inputs, which I don't want. So I either just want x value inputs or only y value inputs. I'll kind of rewrite this. So 2xy plus 4xy plus 4x squared, and this becomes 6xy plus 4x squared. Okay, that looks a little bit neater. So now, because I have x and y, I'll probably go about trying to find a correlation between that. And because they gave me the volume, it's going to be quite easy. So I know volume is going to be the length times the width times the height. So it's going to be x times y times 2x. And if I just multiply that, it's going to be 2x squared y. And I know that is going to be 576. 576. And here, if it wasn't structured, then I can just choose one of these variables. So I can make y the subject here and input, y and substitute the y. Or I could make x the subject and then substitute the x. But in this case, I think y does make a bit more sense, because if I want to make x a subject, I'm going to have to do some square rooting. And then when I input it, yes, it might be cancelled out there, but it won't be cancelled out here. So it does make sense to me that they're saying express y in terms of x. So we have to make y the subject. And pretty simple, we're just going to divide by 2x squared. So y is going to be 576 divided by 2x squared. I can reduce that, just 576 divided by 2, 288. Just to clean this up, so it's going to be 288 over x squared. Okay, now obviously I did the first part saying y in terms of x, which I've done here. And then they say show that a is equal to 2x squared plus this whole big thing here. And I'm just going to sub in the y. And I can already see this 4x squared is already there, 4x squared. Okay, so I'm just going to sub in the y. Let me just write here 6x, and the y is going to be 288 over x squared and plus 4x squared. 6 times 288. I'm pretty good with my 6 times table, but 288 is a bit of a stretch. And luckily for us, it makes 1728, which is the same number I have there, 1728. And the x at the top is going to cancel out with that x, so I'm going to have the x here, and then plus the 4x squared. And what I actually did now is now I have the area as a function where I only have one input, which is this x. And because I only have this, it's kind of a quadratic, and from here I should be able to find a stationary point, etc. So obviously they're saying find me and the obviously. Anyway, They're saying find the maximum value for A and state the dimensions of the cuboid for which this occurred. So basically we're going to have to find the x value, but we're going to have to derive first. So first let's rewrite it just so it's easier to derive. Okay, and then I'm going to derive it here. So let's do dA over dx. And that's going to be negative 1728 x to the power of negative 2. And then plus 8x. And this is all going to be equal to 0. And I'm going to rewrite this, just take the other thing over and rewrite saying 8. What's going to be easier? No, let's just do this first. We'll say 1728 over x squared plus 8x is 0, and I'm going to multiply with x squared on well, right through. So then I have 1728 plus 8x, this is going to be cubed, is 0. I can take this over to the other side, so 8x cubed is going to be 1728. I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. So x cubed is going to be 2728 divided by 8, and we get 216, and I have a feeling the cube root of that is going to be a nice number like 6. So x is going to be 6. Oh, lucky for us. That was very convenient. So now we have the x value. They said find the maximum value of a. So the maximum value of a, we haven't found that yet. We basically just found the x value where we have a stationary point. And this is where x is 6, and that we'll just have to sub it in there. So I'm going to have to do 1728 over 6 plus, 4 times 6 times 6 is 36. Okay, I'm just going to do that on my calculator, so it might take a while. 1728, fast forward in the video if you don't want to hear me talk to my calculator. 4 times 36. I think that looks good. And now we have a 432, and it's area and it's centimeters, so centimeters squared. So we found the maximum value for A, so good for us. And they also state the dimensions of the cuboid for which this occurs. Okay, so that would be if, obviously we know x is 6, so if I had x would be 6, the 2x side is going to be 12, so basically it's going to be, let's draw a little shape here. Very beautiful shape. You can see I'm an artist. Okay, so the x is 6, and that side's going to be 2 times this. And the y, how are we going to find the y? We wrote x in terms of y here, so we're going to have to sub in there. Oh my goodness, do we have space anywhere? So we're going to have to find y. Y is going to be 288. 288 over 36. So 288 divided by 36, and that would be 8. Okay, so there we have our dimensions, 12 by 6 by 8. And we answered all the questions. They didn't ask us now if it's a minimum or maximum value. They just said, hey, it's going to be the maximum value. And yeah, perfect.